Colin, well, here we go. It's the Ageless Sisters today. I'm Cynthia Rowland.
And I'm Jackie Silver.
And together we make up the most wonderful little duet of the
Ageless Sisters.
Well, Jackie, I'm so happy that we are doing this together today.
Me too, but always.
I know. We were just talking before we got on the air that doing this program with Jackie is like having a shot of B12. It always makes me feel like I'm energized and full of life, which I really like.
Definitely.
So today we're going to talk about skin. Oh my gosh. Everybody I know, Jackie, wants radiant, younger looking, glowing skin. Is that in your circles as well?
Well, yes, not only that, but even everyone I know who's 20 years old wants radiant, glowing skin. Any age.
Any age. And, you know, there are so many detriments to get to glowing skin. And people I know that they go to their dermatologist and they're saying, oh, help me with my skin. And instead of kind of like taking the edge off about your skin, they give you antibiotics and things like that to make your skin do something. It's not always the best thing. It goes back to what you used to say all the time, you are what you eat.
Well, I don't think I made that up. I think that's about a 100-year-old adage. But yeah, I mean, definitely what you eat affects everything about your health, including your skin. This is what I always say, though. I always say your skin is your largest organ. No one usually thinks of it as an organ. And
Yes.
So the same way you have to take care of your heart, your liver, your lungs, your skin is an organ.
Yes, and the organ can be attacked not only externally, but also internally.
Right.
And so I was doing some reading about just how many women suffer from acne. Do you know how many women suffer from acne?
I don't. Probably a lot.
I'm going to look at 50 million women.
50 million. That's a
Yes,
lot.
it is a lot. And, you know, recently I know somebti who just got a big roaring zit on their face.
That was me.
I wasn't going to say that. But did you ever think that it maybe was hormonal or something you had eaten, or was it just what?
Well, yeah, it was hormonal in the way that it was from stress, which, you know, the stress hormones do wreak havoc on your whole system. And yep, I had a raging big zit just in time for some family photos.
Oh boy, it always happens that way too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you know, what do you recommend for somebody who has acne, Jackie? I know that you've thought long and hard about skincare and what works, and how do you overcome some of these breakouts that women get? What do you suggest?
Well, you know, what I've read, and I'm not a doctor, of course, is that acne is caused by bacteria. And I don't know, you know, every day you hear a new conflicting thing about what causes what you should eat. Oh, did you know that now gluten-free is out unless you have celiac disease? It can actually give you diabetes, type 2 diabetes. So,
I know.
So yeah, I'm not a doctor, but if it's caused by a bacteria, then I would think that you should probably attack the bacteria and not be, you know, picking it. That would just add more bacteria to what's already there, right?
Right. Well, you know, back to the celiac and the gluten-free aspect of that. Recently, I met a woman who has celiac, and she had some horrific skin conditions occurring in the most unusual places, around her wrists, under her bra area. And I said, well, tell me about your diet, because she has been diagnosed with celiac. And you know what she told me? She eats primarily mac and cheese.
Wait, isn't that pasta?
She says it's gluten-free pasta. I don't know, but I know that with the dairy and the pasta, that might set something up in her system that she might not be aware of. Or maybe, I don't know, why would she eat that?
Well, you know what they're finding out, which I know you know this, and a lot of people don't know this, but they're finding out that your gut bacteria and the way it's balanced or out of balance has a lot to do with your overall health. So it's not just about, running to the bathroom or not. It's about your entire body. In fact, they do gut bacteria transplants now.
I know.
I don't know if I'm sure you saw this, but they took like gut bacteria from a mummy and they transferred it to somebody to cure I don't know what. But I've had a lot of allergies this year, and I noticed that I felt like it was affecting my skin, just having like a pollen allergy. The pollen right now is very thick here, and so I'm constantly sneezing. I never had allergies till I was in my 50s. Yeah, I am in my 50s. Anyway. Thanks. But I noticed that I feel as if the pollen allergy is even affecting my skin. It just doesn't look the same for some reason.
And didn't you say recently that you were going to give up dairy?
Well, that was another allergy I discovered. I'm not going to call it an allergy, but I definitely have like a dairy intolerance. And the minute that I stopped eating cheese and coffee creamer that was dairy and cottage cheese and anything, ice cream, my whole body changed. I lost weight even though I wasn't trying. My hair had been falling out and now it's really thick, as you can see. Weird changes. And I don't know if it's from the dairy, stopping dairy, but now I've just kind of reintroduced a tiny little bit of dairy if I want a splash of cream in my coffee or a little couple of shreds of cheese. But I feel so much better.
Yes.
I haven't had ice cream yet, but I feel much better.
Oh, good. That's great.
Better.
That's great. Well, another thing I read about women, especially women who have problems with their gut issue, is that probiotics can go a long way in helping women dispel and get rid of this digestion problem that they're having, bloating, indigestion. My sister was here visiting, and she had the worst case of indigestion, Jackie. She had to lay on my bed. And I walked in and I said, I guess you don't know about apple cider vinegar. And she said, no, what's that? I said, well, let me fix you a little cocktail of apple cider vinegar, which I did using Bragg's and a little bit of stevia, a little bit of water so that it wasn't so hard on the system. And I gave her a probiotic as well. And in 15 minutes, she was up out of that bed, feeling so much better. And so many women think that if they have indigestion, it's because they're having too much acid in their system, when it's really the opposite. I understand.
Not enough acid.
Not enough. And so that apple cider vinegar just helped her so much. And then, of course, I've been a probiotic fan for a long, long time, and I think that helped her as well.
I'm a total proponent of probiotics also, but I have to tell you something. When I stopped dairy, I got the same effect as taking probiotics. I did.
Wow.
It's weird. Yeah.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of dairy and all these things that happen to our bodies as we begin to mature, sometimes our bodies it's like that being in science class and you had this jar of water and you kept putting pennies in it, and finally you had that spill of the water. And I think that's what happens with our system, is that we are so accustomed to eating so many different foods that sometimes we don't eat the right foods. Like one thing you've always said to me is supersize your vegetables. Not so much fruit. You need those vegetables in your diet. And I know that when you increase your vegetables, everything in your body begins to work a little differently, because you're getting that nutrition and that balance that your body requires.
And, also there's a matter of whether you actually absorb the nutrition in the food that you eat. And so there's that I think you could go to a nutritionist and find out if you're absorbing the nutrients. But I have some facts and stuff like you had before about skin allergies and allergies in general. Yes. From the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. And just, I know everyone knows this, but just to clarify that an allergy is when your immune system reacts to foreign substances, and that's an allergy. And it can be anything from, your lungs or your scratchy throat or your skin. So one of the topics here, it says, how common are skin allergies? And that includes skin inflammation, eczema, hives, chronic hives, contact allergies from plants like poison ivy and oak, and et cetera. And it says that skin allergies are really much more common than people even realize it. And like you talked about, it can come from sources inside you and not just poison ivy or poison oak. And right. It can also come from your unconscious brain. You know me, I have to always talk about that.
Yes.
Because John Sarno, MD, who wrote The Mind-Body Prescription, and I even also wrote a book after knowing about his book about the mind-body connection, and it's extremely powerful. In fact, I have a quick anecdote about that.
Okay.
Do we have time?
Absolutely.
Well, when my son was starting college, everyone said to me, oh, you're going to cry, you better take tissues, you're going to cry all the way home. I took him to Gainesville and came back, so it was like 2.5 hours. And I said, oh, no, he's so close, it's not going to bother me at all. And I took him, I drove back, no problem. The next morning, I woke up and I was covered in hives from head to toe. My unconscious brain did not like that he was away at college now. I had no clue. And I had to take oatmeal baths. I had to treat it like a real reaction. But it really
was a real reaction.
Yeah. Right, but it really came from the unconscious brain.
Well, so many women want to have a quick fix when they have these skin problems and these problems that like hives or whatever. And sometimes going to a doctor is not the best avenue, because I've learned a little bit about essential oils.
Right. You know everything about that.
No, I don't know everything. Diane Dillingham knows everything about essential oils. One of these days we should probably have her on. And when you're here in Oklahoma, you're going to get to see her again.
Oh, good.
But one of the things that I was learning in my research is that eczema, like as you just mentioned, there are 32 million eczema sufferers in the United States.
Isn't that amazing? It's amazing.
That's horrible. And, I know that eczema can cause like breakouts and sores and upsets in your skin, but I've learned that if you use some of these essential oils to treat it, you might have a better experience treating some of these skin conditions with essential oils rather than antibiotics.
Well, actually, I have a story. It's not about essential oils, even though I'm all aboard with those, but I was doing a speaking engagement a few years ago to some nurses. And remember back in the day when I had my own coconut oil?
Yes.
I gave out samples of my coconut oil, and she told me, sorry, I don't know what's going on. So anyway,
nobody ever calls you.
Nobody ever calls me. And plus I have my phone on vibrate, so I don't know how that happened.
It's not a problem. Anyway,
she told me that she used my coconut oil sample on her hands that were always chapped, and she said that nothing had helped her ever with these chapped hands. They would crack and bleed. And she said that the coconut oil was the only thing that helped her. So
that's on my list of talking points today is coconut oil, because you turned me on to that many years ago, and I have never stopped using it.
Yeah.
Because you can mix your essential oils with coconut oil.
I love that. I've done that.
Yes. And so like I was going to say, with treating eczema, there's several essential oils that people recommend for eczema. Lavender, frankincense, which we both love, tea tree oil, geranium, chamomile, cedarwood, all these wonderful oils, everything in nature. That's what I like.
That's
Mother Nature bringing oils to us, and I love that. But one of the most amazing things, I'm sorry, I just stepped on your line. I know that. One of the most amazing things I find about researching skin is that wrinkles come to the forefront all the time about skin, because wrinkles not only are caused by dry skin and you're not attending to yourself like you could, but also about the muscles, how they begin to elongate and they pull the skin down and they create lots of wrinkles. I was just talking with a guy who works in my office today about helping younger women get over this wrinkle thing that they have going on, because you see their wrinkles around their eyes and around their mouths and in their forehead, and you think, what in the world? Why do they get these wrinkles like this? But yes, repetitive motion is one thing, but it's also treating the inside of your skin, like with probiotics. And I still take astaxanthin because I think that's one of the best skin pills around.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I like the fact that essential oils have anti-aging properties that we can use all the time, in addition to skincare.
And they're natural. I want to tell you something about essential oils.
Okay.
You know, this is sort of wrapping that whole topic together. You were talking about wrinkles, you were talking about essential oils, and you know,
right.
Sleep is so important to not having wrinkles, okay? And I'm sure you already know this because you know everything about essential oils, but we started putting lavender on our pillows. I put lavender on my pillow and my husband's pillow at night, and we are sleeping like, I call it baby wombats. We are getting the best sleep. And he takes melatonin. I don't even take melatonin anymore. All I do is lavender on my pillow, and I am sleeping like a rock for 8 hours every night.
That is wonderful. Diane Dillingham told me recently that I needed to infuse lavender at night to help me with my sleep. And I really feel that that is essential to good sleep, because it gives you a peace that you just go down and there you are sleeping.
Everybody loves lavender also.
Yes,
oh, but I will caution mothers, do not use lavender on your little boys, because it causes some kind of hormonal reaction that turns them into little girls or something. I have that wrong, but you can research that if you're listening, and research lavender on little boys. It's not good for them.
Wow. And, you know, rosacea is another situation. My dad had rosacea, and he was using these high-powered creams on his face that cost like $100 and more, and none of that really seemed to give him the relief that he wanted, because these red areas of his face were so prevalent. Do you know anybody with rosacea?
You know, I don't really know anyone that has it to the degree that it's a problem, but I almost feel like I have a little bit of rosacea because right now I have makeup on. But normally now without makeup in selfies and pictures, I see a lot of red in my cheeks, and I was like, what is that? But, you know, I used to have these really, really overly deep facials, and she would gouge me. And I think it's really just probably broken capillaries. But, you know, one thing I did notice that my skin has improved really greatly lately is, you know, we play racquetball. I always talk about that. And I'll play 4 or 5 games of strenuous racquetball. My face will be beet red. And just all that nice circulation, bringing the blood to the surface, has really been good for my skin.
That is excellent for your skin, and removes all of those toxins that you have, not only just in your face, but in your whole body as well, because you're constantly sweating.
Right, right.
Yes. So, Jackie Silver, how often are you going to do facial magic this week?
Well, as much
you did it
today. I did it today. You know what? I want to talk about facial magic because what an amazing, amazing program. Before I knew Cynthia Rowland, I used to get injections. And now I have not had any injections in 9 years. I got injections when I was in my late 30s even. But, you know, I was a slacker a lot this year. And we were talking about this before the show started. Cynthia and I were. I hadn't done facial magic in a month, and I just did it today, and my face is like instantly back to normal. And it was what we were talking about earlier, was you and I, muscle memory. Just like if you go to the gym after not having gone for a couple months, all of a sudden you feel really toned and you look much more toned. Well, that's exactly what happens with facial magic. It's like a gift, because it will always work. Even if you didn't do it for 5 years or 6 years or any amount of time, it will always work again. It's not like, surgery or injections that go away in 3 months or 10 years or 6 months or whatever. It's amazing, it really is.
One of our mutual friends, she will remain nameless at this moment, has restarted facial magic. And she lives in New York, and she's on TV. She's pretty famous. And Jackie, I can tell already that she is seeing such dramatic changes in just 5 weeks in restarting her program.
Right.
That's 5 weeks. Start pictures at 4 weeks. And she's excited, and I'm excited, because that's the basis of this program. Is once you know the program, you've got that technology for life. And
exactly.
She wanted to restart that because she's got something new going on. She's going to be out in LA doing some things out there, and she wants to look her best. And another one of our friends has restarted too. And seriously, she's getting ready for a new book tour, and she looks young and vibrant.
It works. I always go back to this, but I just love to watch all the award shows and see the stars, and we know exactly which ones are using facial magic. I'll text Cynthia and go, oh, did you see so-and-so? I know she's a facial magic user, because facial magic users have this symmetry. Yes. And a symmetrical face is what they consider, they being the experts, is a beautiful face. And facial magic gives you that symmetry. Really.
I always use you as an example with that symmetry, because I think you're the perfect example of having a symmetrical face, and that always makes you look youthful and vibrant.
Right. And people always think that after a certain age they have to lose weight or whatever, but actually a plumper face is what looks youthful. And facial magic plumps your face, but by plumping the muscle, pumping up the muscle underneath the skin. So your face looks youthful and round, but not in a fat way. It looks youthful and round in a youthful way, I think.
Yes. And another thing I wanted to bring out, Jackie, is that after working with faces for so many years, I realized that you're never too young, or you're really never too old to work this program. Because by the time a woman gets to her mid-30s, she's seeing those signs of aging that she may not like. Because by the time they reach 35, the eyebrows are already dropping, the eyelids are becoming lined, and usually you see something going on down here that might not be as wonderful as you would like. Because I know when I first started facial magic, I had a waddle. I didn't even know I had a waddle. I didn't know what it was called. But Marcel said to me, and we can even take care of that little waddle. And I'm going, what is she talking about? Because when we look at our faces, sometimes we look with our eyes closed, or we're far away from the mirror. We don't really see what's going on. But if you look at your face in the front and then the sides, you can see where there's improvement that's required. And why go with injections? Because once you start those injections, as Jackie can tell you, they're pretty hard to give up, aren't they?
Well, at the time they were, but thank goodness you saved me with facial magic. And, when I first met Cynthia, and if you've heard us before, you might have heard this story, but I wasn't doing all 18 of the facial magic exercises because I did not need all those. So I just picked like 5 or 6 that I thought pertained to me. And the first thing Cynthia Rowland said when she met me in person was, "You're not doing all the exercises, are you?" And she can tell. And you can tell because you're not as symmetrical when you're not doing all of it. It all works synergistically and together to make you look symmetrical. So you got to do all of them, but it doesn't take very long. And you know what? Who doesn't have time in their day to take out time for themselves? You have 20 minutes for yourself. And if you don't, then this is even more important to do. You know,
Yes.
I turned my husband onto it, and he's so handsome anyway, but he does facial magic, and he looks 10 years younger. And we'll just get our gloves out, and he'll say, put some music on, and we put the music on, and we do the exercises, and we're done in 22 minutes. And it was so easy. And it was something we did together, too, which is, you know, it's fun.
Well, they say that couples that exercise together stay together.
They say that.
Well, you know, we want to offer, yes, we want to offer a special price for anyone who's watching our show. If they order Facial Magic, oh, we'll be so thrilled for you because we know what your experience is going to be with that. But we're offering a 10% discount on all the products across the board today. And all you have to do is type in webinar when it asks if you have a coupon, say webinar. That's our little buzzword for the day. And you can actually get 10% off all your purchases. And if you order Facial Magic, you also get free shipping.
That's amazing because I've known Cynthia for 10 years almost, right? And she never discounts Facial Magic. Sometimes she has skincare specials, but never discounts Facial Magic. And you know what? You don't need to discount Facial Magic, even though our listeners are lucky, because it's so affordable and it's something that you can use for the rest of your life that won't cost you after the initial investment. And like I said, if you don't use it for a month, you just go right back to it, 2 months, whatever. It just works so beautifully. When I was getting married, I hadn't done Facial Magic, and this was last year, in a while because I had a very stressful situation I was going through. So what did I do? I just did Facial Magic every day for 5 days before my wedding, and I looked perfect.
There you go. It's so perfect. And you know, not only do we have Facial Magic that helps rehabilitate the skin and the muscles, but we also have some of the finest skincare items available because they're botanical and natural in nature, or in the products. We use botanicals and natural ingredients. And not everything is going to be natural in a skincare product. I just want to make sure everybody knows that because like my friend Linda Arrows used to say, hey, even formaldehyde is natural. And so is, what's that, gypsum weed or whatever she would say.
Cyanide.
And cyanide, exactly.
Arsenic is natural.
Right. So when we say natural, we're not wanting, I don't want you to think that we're putting anything bad in there. We are only going to enhance your Facial Magic experience with wonderful skincare items. And I know that Jackie's new husband has been trying our carrot oil, right?
Well, I wanted to comment on that because it's not only his new favorite, but it's also my new favorite because you sent him some and I stole it. So now he has another bottle. And I also, as you know, I will use no other skin cleanser except for I never remember the exact name, but the green.
Yes, without the 3% DHA, yep. It's green, yep.
That is the only facial cleanser I will use. And I use it every single day, and I just swear by it.
Yep, I use that in my shower, Jackie, because it leaves your skin just feeling perfect. It's just not oily, not dry. It's just perfect.
Now, when you use the carrot oil, do you mix it with another cream, or how do you use the carrot oil?
Well, I use it particularly at night, and that's where I do most of my treatments at night. So if I'm doing a peptide, a multi-peptide at night, I'll use that carrot oil over that treatment. Even if I'm using a heavy-duty retinol, I will use carrot oil over that retinol because it keeps everything so moist. And when there's moist skin, wrinkles cannot form.
Right.
Yes, I like that.
Me too.
Well, my darling friend, we are at the end of our Beautycast, another one under our belts, which I just love so much. And what the listeners do not know before we sign off is that you're going to be in Oklahoma soon, and we're going to do one together.
Yay!
And that's even more fun, just having you in the same room.
Wait, do we have time for one more quick story? I'll make it quick.
Make it quick.
My friend Lisa in New York City texted me and she said, I've been using this new skin cream for 3 days and I thought my skin looked really great and I realized it was hair conditioner.
Well, there you go. Some of that same keratin is probably on the face as it is in the hair. Okay, my dear, until next time, we just wish all of you a very fine, blessed day. And Jackie, thank you for another great show.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye, everyone. We're out of here.